I found out my best friend of 12 years had been secretly dating my ex for the last 8 months when I saw a text on her phone that wasn't meant for me. 8 months. That's not a slip-up. That's not a mistake made in a weak moment. That's a decision they made, together, over and over again, every single day. While she sat across from me at dinner, while she asked how I was holding up after the breakup. While she hugged me and told me I deserved better. I'm going to tell you exactly how I found out, what I did next, and the one thing she said afterward that I still can't stop thinking about. But here's the thing. I almost didn't see that text. If her phone hadn't buzzed at exactly the wrong moment, I might never have known. And what I found out after that first message was so much worse than the affair itself. Because it wasn't just that they'd been together for 8 months, it was when it started. It was why my breakup happened in the first place. And by the end of this story, you're going to understand why I didn't confront her that night. I waited 3 weeks, and I built something first. Stick around, because the way this ends is not what either of them saw coming. Let me back up. Me and my ex, we'll call him Daniel, were together for 4 years. Not perfect, but solid, or so I thought. About 10 months ago, things started feeling off. He was distant, distracted, always working late. I chalked it up to stress. His job had gotten busier, and I didn't want to be the paranoid girlfriend jumping to conclusions. My best friend, I'll call her Rachel, was the person I vented to about all of it. 12 years of friendship. She was in my wedding planning group chat before Daniel and I had even talked about marriage. She was the one I called crying at 2 in the morning when things started falling apart. She sat with me on my kitchen floor the night Daniel and I finally broke up 3 months ago and told me he didn't deserve me. I believed her. I believed all of it. The breakup itself was almost anticlimactic. Daniel said he needed space, that he wasn't happy, that it wasn't me, it was him. All the lines. I was devastated, but I told myself at least I had Rachel. At least I wasn't going through it alone. For the next 3 months, she was there constantly, checking in, bringing over food, telling me I was better off. Looking back now, I can see it, the way she'd changed the subject a little too fast whenever I brought up wanting to know how Daniel was doing. The way she always seemed to already know things about his life that I hadn't told her. At the time, I thought she was just a good listener. I thought she paid attention because she cared. 3 weeks ago, we were having dinner at her apartment. Wine, takeout, the usual. Her phone was face down on the counter, and it buzzed. She was in the bathroom, and normally I wouldn't have looked. But it buzzed twice more in a row, the kind of double buzz that means someone's actually waiting on a reply, and something made me glance at the screen. The notification preview showed a name I knew instantly. Daniel, and enough of the message to make my stomach drop. Can't wait to see you this weekend. Missed you all week. I didn't touch the phone. I didn't need to. I just sat there staring at it, feeling the entire last 3 months rearrange themselves in my head. When Rachel came back, she must have seen something in my face because she asked if I was okay. I told her I was fine. I finished dinner. I hugged her goodbye like nothing had happened. And then I went home and didn't sleep at all that night. Here's where I have to be honest about something. My first instinct was to call her the next morning and scream, but something stopped me. I kept thinking about that word. Missed you all week. Not, hey, how are you? Missed you. That's not a new thing. That's an established thing. So instead of confronting her, I did something else. I started paying attention, really paying attention for the first time in months. I looked back at old texts between us every time she'd been suspiciously available or suspiciously informed. I remembered a comment my downstairs neighbor made in passing weeks earlier about seeing your friend's car outside pretty late one night. A comment I'd brushed off at the time because it didn't make sense to me yet. And then I remembered something specific. 2 weeks before Daniel and I broke up, Rachel had asked me almost casually if I thought Daniel and I were really going to make it. At the time, I thought she was just checking in on me. Now I think she was checking her timeline, so I waited. 3 weeks. I didn't say anything to Rachel. I didn't say anything to Daniel. I gathered what I could. Screenshots I already had, the timeline of when her concerns started lining up suspiciously well with when Daniel started pulling away from me. I wasn't building a court case. I was building my own certainty because I needed to know I wasn't imagining this before I said anything out loud. 3 weeks after that dinner, I invited Rachel over, told her I wanted to talk. She came over relaxed, expecting more post-breakup venting, probably. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just laid out the timeline, calmly, piece by piece. The comments, the timing, the neighbor, the notification I saw that night at her apartment. I watched her face change with every sentence. Watched her go from confused to defensive to finally just quiet. And then she said the thing I still can't stop thinking about. She said, "I didn't think it would hurt you this much because you two were already over anyway." That's it. That was her defense. Not, "I'm sorry," not, "This wasn't planned." Just, "You were already over, so it doesn't really count." As if the 8 months of comforting me while dating him didn't happen. As if sitting on my kitchen floor telling me he didn't deserve me while she was actively choosing him wasn't its own kind of cruelty. Looking back, there were 3 things I wish I'd trusted sooner. First, pay attention to who already knows things they shouldn't. Rachel knew details about Daniel's life that I hadn't told her, and I explained it away instead of questioning it. That kind of unexplained information is rarely accidental. Second, notice the difference between comfort and information gathering. Real support doesn't need to ask leading questions about whether your relationship is really going to make it. That's not concern. That's someone checking a timeline. And third, you don't owe anyone an immediate reaction. The 3 weeks I spent quietly confirming what I already suspected weren't wasted time. They were the difference between confronting her with panic and confronting her with certainty. I wasn't guessing when I sat down with her. I knew. And that changed everything about how that conversation went. Rachel and Daniel are still together as far as I know. I don't check. I've since learned that the friendship I thought I could trust more than anything wasn't what I thought it was. And that's been its own kind of grief, honestly, separate from the breakup itself. If you've ever had someone comfort you while quietly betraying you, I want to hear it. Drop your story in the comments below. And if you want more stories like this one, hit subscribe. New stories go up regularly, and some of them get even harder to believe than this.